This video demonstrates the installation process of the Solis S6 split-phase low-voltage hybrid inverter. Attention! Electrical equipment can only be installed and maintained by qualified electrical technicians. Please read the full user manual before installation and verify that all the accessories have been provided in the box with the inverter. The inverter is heavy. Please utilize proper lifting techniques whenever moving the inverter. 2 people are required to move and lift the inverter. Please install the inverter in a safe location that meets the requirements for proper ventilation and heat dissipation, and avoid direct sunlight. When the inverter is operating, there may be risks of high temperature and high voltages. It is recommended to install the inverter in a location that is not easily accessible. Unbox the inverter. Use a utility knife to open the inverter box. Take out the foam with the mounting bracket and also the accessory kit. Remove knockouts with a flat screwdriver according to your own needs. Install the mounting bracket. This section of the video demonstrates the bracket installation method, and the actual installation should be adjusted according to the specific working conditions. Appropriate space should be reserved around the inverter. Please install the inverter vertically. If the inverter cannot be installed vertically, it must be installed at an angle greater than 15 degrees horizontally, or at an angle of less than 15 degrees tilted back vertically. The inverter cannot be installed flat. After determining the installation position of the mounting bracket, fix the bracket to the wall using either the expansion bolts provided in the accessory kit or your own hardware. Mount the inverter. 2 people together should lift the inverter slightly above the mounting bracket. Align the 2 bolts on the sides of the inverter with the channels on the mounting bracket, and then slowly lower the inverter down until both bolts go into the channels. Install the set screws included in the package into the fixing holes. PV connection. Open the wire box cover by using the 3 latches on the right side of the inverter. After bringing the PV leads into the inverter wire box, use a multimeter to measure the open circuit voltage of the strings. Verify that the polarity of each string is correct. Ensure that the DC voltages of the PV strings are within the allowable range marked on the specification label of the inverter. When the PV array is exposed to the sun, the PV leads will be energized with high voltage DC if rapid shutdown is not installed. Exercise caution when landing the PV strings. PV modules connected to the same MPPT must be the same brand and model. They must also have the same tilt and azimuth. PV strings connected to the same MPPT must have equal voltages. Each MPPT consists of 2 strings inputs. Open the PV terminal by pulling up on the orange tab. Insert the stripped end of the PV cable into the terminal, then pull down on the tab to lock the terminal. Give the cable a gentle tug test. Repeat this process for all of the PV cables. Grounding cable connection. Loosen the grounding terminal. Insert the stripped grounding conductor, then tighten the terminal to 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT. Battery connection. Disclaimer. For battery installation, please refer to the battery manufacturer's installation instruction manual. Run 3 conductors between the battery and the inverter. One will go from the battery positive terminal to the inverter battery positive input. The second goes from the battery negative terminal to the inverter battery negative input. The third connects the battery ground to the inverter ground. Use a 8mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on battery side. Use a 5mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on pay and neutral route. AC side connection. Run for conductors for L1, L2, neutral, and ground from the grid breaker or disconnect switch near the utility point of interconnection to the inverter. Use a 8mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on AC side. Use a 5mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on pay and neutral route. Run another for conductors for L1, L2, neutral, and ground from the backup distribution panel to the inverter. Use a 8mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on backup side. Use a 5mm hex tip to tighten the terminals to between 9.6 and 11.06 lb FFT on pay and neutral route. Communication connection. Connect one end of a standard Ethernet cable into the BMS RJ45 port in the inverter. Connect the other end of that cable to the battery BMS port. If the external meter is installed, plug another Ethernet cable into the meter RJ45 port in the inverter. Connect the other end of that cable to the external meter. The RS485 port is for communication with a non-Solis gateway. The PA and PB ports are for connecting multiple hybrid inverters in parallel. Connect one end of an Ethernet cable into the PA port of inverter 1 and the other end into the PB port of inverter 2. If the CTs are going to be connected directly to the inverter, install CT1 on L1 and CT2 on L2 at the system grid connection point. The CT arrow should point to the grid. Connect the white wire of CT1 to pin 15 and the blue wire to pin 16. Connect the white wire of CT2 to pin 17 and the blue wire to pin 18. The inverter may come equipped with an integrated rapid shutdown transmitter. Check the specification label of the inverter to see if it has a transmitter and what kind it is. The red rapid shutdown switch on the side of the inverter will shut down the inverter and disable the internal transmitter. Give this switch a clockwise twist to ensure that it is closed. Pushing the switch in initiates both rapid shutdown and emergency shutdown. If an external switch needs to be installed, connect to wires from the external switch to the RSD pins inside of the inverter wire box. If you plan to use the Solis monitoring platform, then you will need to install the Solis data logger. Remove the black protective caps by pushing in the two tabs on either side and then pulling down on the cap. Insert the Solis logger into the port with the LED lights facing forward. Push the logger straight up. Be sure the two tabs align with the holes in the logger. The inverter accessory kit includes a Bluetooth antenna. This antenna extends the range of the inverter Bluetooth connection. Look for the Bluetooth port on the inverter side. Unscrew the black plastic cap, then remove the red plug. Install the antenna by twisting it counterclockwise until it feels tight. Pre-commissioning. Visually inspect the inverter, making sure that all conduit connections are tight and that all cables are landed in the proper terminals and have been given a tug test. Then, turn on the battery, PV switch, and AC power input from the inverter grid input. Test the AC and DC voltages individually at the inverter wire box. Turn on the battery and verify that the battery voltage and polarity are correct. After checking the voltage, close the inverter wire box cover and fasten the 3 latches. Commissioning. Download the Solis Cloud app and register a new organization account if you have not done so already. You can download Solis Cloud app by scanning the QR code here. Turn on your phone Bluetooth switch and then open the Solis Cloud app. Tap Service, then Local Operation, and then connect with Bluetooth. Select the Bluetooth signal from the inverter. The signal name will include the inverter serial number. If you are the installer, please select the account type as installer. If you are the plant owner, please select the account type as owner. Then create a password for connecting to the inverter. Be sure to write this password down with a permanent marker on the inside of the inverter wire box cover. Quick settings. To match the inverter date and time to your phone, toggle on the Follow Phone Time switch. Select the battery model. If there is no battery connected for the moment, please select No Battery to avoid alarms. If the CTs are directly connected to the inverter, select No Meter. If you have installed the Chint meter, then select Chint SP meter. Select Grid Side if the CTs are installed at the utility point of interconnection. Select the grid code. First tap Grid Code, and then scroll down to USA and tap it. Select the code UL to 4018 for USA. Set the work mode, which is the energy storage operating mode. The recommended setting is self-use mode. When this mode is selected, the inverter uses the PV power to first support the loads and then to charge the batteries. If you need to manually control the battery charging and discharging with respect to time, toggle on the time of use switch. Configure the charge and discharge time windows. Be sure there is no overlap between the windows. It is recommended to run on the Allow Grid Charging setting so that the inverter can use grid power to flow charge the battery to prevent the battery from discharging past the safe level. After finishing the quick settings, you will see the inverter operating page. There are icons showing what the system is doing in real time. In the top left corner, there is PV production. In the bottom left corner, the battery. The top right is the power grid. The middle right is the grid load. And the bottom right is the backup load. The Information tab is where you can find inverter voltage and current measurements for each input. The Alarm tab will show any current alarms as well as the full alarm history. The Settings tab is where you can make alterations to the inverter settings. Once all of the settings have been configured, it is recommended to restart the inverter. Turn off the battery as well as the AC power to the inverter. Wait for the LED lights to go dark. Then turn the system on, starting with AC power, then the battery, and then the DC switch on the inverter. After about 5 minutes, the inverter will go into normal operation as long as there are no alarms. With the inverter operating normally, we can now finish up commissioning by configuring the Solis data logger. You can scan the QR code here to view the configuration steps of the Solis data logger.